Hello guys, and welcome back to another tutorial. On today's video we are going to be making this dress, and this is going to be the drafting part of this video, so stay subscribed so you do not miss the sewing part of the video. Let's get right into it. So guys, this is the pattern we're going to be working with. I went ahead to rule out the lines. This is my under bust point, which is 13 inches, and I'm going to just mark this out. This is my bust point, which is 10 inches, and we are going to be working with half length, and I'm going to take out 6 inches from this measurement. So from where our 6 inches starts is where is going to be our new chest line. So this is what we have. Now I'm just going to take my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 3.5, and I'm going to take 3.5 all the way from the top to the bottom. I'm going to mark that out, and I'm going to rule a line. Next, I'm going to be taking out 1 inch on both sides, 1 inch that at the top on both sides, and for the bottom part I'm going to be taking 1 inch on the inside and 1 inch on the outside, the same way I did for the upper part. And this is going to differ depending on the bust you're trying to work with, depending on the size of the person's bust. Here I first of all went to take 1 inch on the outer part and half inch on the inner part, but I went ahead to change that. You will see as we go on with this tutorial. So I'm going to rule this out. Now I'm going to use my pattern master to drag the 1 inch we took at that point all the way to my bust point here at the line we made initially. This is going to help us carve out our bustier to come out looking very well. So now I'm going to do the same thing for the under bust part, and you can see that on the inside I first of all went ahead to take out half inch, but I decided to change it and take out 1 inch, so I'm going to rule that out. So what we have there now is 2 inches. I hope you understand. Now I'm ruling this from my bust point all the way down, and you can see that the shape of our bustier is coming out very well. I'm doing the same thing on the other side. So this is what we have so far. I'm going to rule out this part so you know that we are no longer working with that line anymore. So this is what we have. Now I'm just going to start putting in my body measurement divided by 4. I'm going to put my bust measurement divided by 4, my under bust measurement divided by 4, as well as my waist measurement divided by 4. Now I'm going to add in my across front measurement, which is 14 divided by 4 is 7 inches, and then I'm going to take the 2 inches we took out here and I'm going to return it back at this point here, as you can see. So this is what we have now. Now I'm going to take out the 2 inches we took out here as well, and I'm going to return it back just so our measurement is correct and complete. So this is what we have. Now from that point here I'm going to go down by 7.5 inches, and this is going to help us create our armhole depth. We are not going to be having a sleeve on this particular dress, but this is going to help us carve out our armhole. So we are going to be curving this all the way down, similarly to what you would do if you were fixing an off-shoulder sleeve or a sleeve in general. So we're just going to curve this all the way down the way I'm doing. You can choose to come out from this point by 1 inches as a guide and rule this all the way down like so. Next, I'm just going to rule out my measurements that I've taken from that point all the way down. So this is what we have. I'm just going to add allowance there just so I do not forget to put my allowance. Now I'm going to create a cut from this point here all the way to the bust point, and I'm going to stop there. This is going to help me move my pattern. I'm just going to fold in this that we took out. I'm going to fold it, and then I'm going to tape this down. So guys, now I'm going to mark out our neckline, and I'm going to come down from here by 1.5 inches, and I'm going to mark this out, and then I'm just going to connect this all the way up, and I'm going to be following a curved motion. This is because there's a certain shape I want to achieve with this, so I'm going to curve that all the way up, then I'm going to take it all the way down to our to the end of our chest line area, as you can see me doing right now. So I'm just going to take this all the way down, and when I'm done, I'm just going to cut out the rest of our patterns out. So this is what the front pattern is looking like. Now for the back pattern, I just went ahead to extend the lines we had at the front. The same way we had at the front, we did the same thing for the back, but the only difference is we came down by 6.5 inches instead of 6 inches the way we did initially for the front. Then aside from that, every other thing remains the same. So now we're going to go ahead to just put in our body measurement, but before we do that, we are going to go ahead to mark out our zipper allowance. So I'm going to come out here by 1.5 inches, and I'm going to mark it all the way down, and this is going to serve as our zipper allowance. So I'm going to rule this out. So this is what it's looking like. Now I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch here, just to take out bulginess from the zipper allowance, and I'm going to rule this all the way up. So this is what we have. Now we're going to mark our back dart, and I'm just going to mark 4 inches. You can choose to make yours 3.5 inches depending on the nipple to nipple measurement you have. I just went ahead to make use of 4 inches instead of 3.5 inches, and I'm going to roll this out, and I'm going to mark 1/2 inches on both sides and roll this out. So you can either choose to do your darts this way, or you can either also choose to do it the straight dart method. I just did this to show you what it looks like, but I went ahead to make use of the straight dart method. So this is what we are going to have. I'm just going to roll this out, and afterwards I'm going to change this to the straight dart. So this is what it is looking like. So I went ahead to cancel out these lines because that is not going to be needed. I'm just going to be using this 1/2 inches that I rolled out at the sides. So now I'm taking this again to make it the straight dart, and this is what I'm going to be working with. After this, I'm going to go ahead to fix in my body measurements, my bust measurements, my under bust measurements, and my waist measurement the same way we did for the front piece. After I was done adding the measurements, we are going to return the 1 inch that we took here, and we are going to take it back here so our measurement aligns properly. So I'm just going to return that 1 inch that, and I'm going to rule everything out. But before that, I went ahead to mark my across back measurements divided by 2, and I also went ahead to return the 1 inch at that point too. So now I'm just going to carve out the armhole the way we did for the front. I came down by 7.5 inches, and I'm going to roll this out, and then we are going to create the curve with the same way we did for the front, and then we are going to extend this line to meet with our body measurements. This is what our back pattern is looking like, guys. So we are going to go ahead to just cut everything out. So this is what the back pattern is looking like. You can see how straight that is, and now I'm just going to cut open that line. You can choose to just sew it down, or you can choose to cut it out. I am going to be cutting mine out. So So this is what the back piece is looking like. I'm going to tape this down, and this is going to enable us cut our modesty panel for the back. But before that, I'm just going to label everything so you know what part is what part. So now you can see that I went ahead to tape this down. Now I'm going to fold in my zipper allowance, and this is going to allow me draft out my modesty panel. So now I'm going to bring in a fresh piece of pattern paper, and we're going to place our back pattern on top, and this is going to help us draft out our modesty panel. So what you're going to do is you're going to be taking out either 2 inches, 3 inches, depending on the effect, the snatch effect you want at the back. So if you're taking out 2 inches, for instance, you would have to fold the pattern. So now I'm just going to show you. So if you decide to take out 2 inches, you're just going to mark 2 inches or 3 inches depending on what you want, and then we are going to be folding the pattern paper. That is the our main pattern paper. So I'm taking in 2 inches, and I'm just going to place this down like so. After that, I'm going to determine the length I'm going to be working with, and this is going to be from your bust point line. So we are going to use that as a guide, and then we're just going to outline what we have there onto our new pattern paper we have down there. So I'm just outlining this, and we're just going to mark it on each side and roll it out. So this is what we have. You can see that it's very easy. This is what we are going to be working with. This is what it's looking like, and for this I took out 2 inches, but I felt 2 inches was not enough for me, so I went ahead to take out 1 inches again. So I'm just marking out 1 inch, and I'm going to rule this, and we're going to be taking that out. So this is what we have. I'm going to go ahead to cut this out. Now I'm going to label this just so I know where the top part and the sides are, and I'm going to add allowance to this. So I'm going to write that out so I do not forget to add my allowance. Now we're going to transfer our pattern paper to the main fabric and cut this out, leaving 1/2 inch sewing allowance at the sides and at the top, and also 1.5 inches joining allowance at the sides. So for the skirt part, the length we are going to be working with for our total length is 46 inches, but we are going to be adding our folding allowance. So you are going to either be working with 45 inches or 48 inches, depending on how you want your allowance at the bottom part to be. So we are just going to place this down, and we are going to mark from our 18 inches mark here. I'm just going to roll this out. Next, I'm going to mark out my hip line, and I'm going to roll this out as well. Next, I'm going to start putting in my measurements. I'm going to be fixing in my waist measurement divided by 4 here, and I'm going to mark it out. And after that, I'm going to be putting in my hip measurement divided by 4, and I'm going to mark this out as well. Now we're going to be adding in our sewing allowance, and we're going to be adding in 1.5 inches sewing allowance. So I'm going to add the sewing allowance for the hip line and the sewing allowance for the waistline as well. So we're going to roll this to meet each other. Now I'm going to take note of the measurement I have at my hip line area, and this is about 11.5 inches, and I'm going to take out 1 inch from that measurement, and I'm going to take it back to our thigh area, and we're going to mark this out. So what I did was, my hip measurement, what I had there, I took out 1 inch and I took it down to my thigh area, and we're just going to roll this down. So this is what we have for the skirt part area. We are going to go ahead to start cutting this out. For the back part, I just took our front pattern and I placed this on fold for the back, and I left out 1.5 inches allowance at this point here, and this is going to serve as our zipper allowance. So as you can see, what we have here is 1.5 inches. So we're just going to cut this out. This is very simple and very self-explanatory, so we're just going to cut this out. So guys, if you're watching this video and you're not yet subscribed, please do well to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we upload a new video. So this is what our pieces are looking like, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to eliminate bulging at the zipper area, and I'm going to just take out 1/2 inch there the way we did for the upper part, and I'm going to cut this out as well. So guys, for the slit at the back of the dress, I'm just going to decide where I want it to start from, and for me, I'm just going to take note of 38 inches. So from that point there is fine with me. So I'm going to mark that out, and I'm going to cut out the excess we have there, because I want this to be open. So guys, we've come to the end of this tutorial. Please stay tuned for the sewing part of this video. If you like this video and you found it helpful, do not forget to like and share, comment if you have any questions, and I will see you on the next one.